Hey everyone, hey Wellness crew, and welcome to today's reading of The Art of Contemplation, a gentle path to wholeness and prosperity. The first confirmation, insight. You may recall that there are three confirmations that occur as a result of our contemplative practice. Each of the three contemplative techniques leads to some kind of transformation. The first of these is insight. The more space and pauses you create in your daily life, the more relaxed and open your mind becomes. An open mind is a mind that can suddenly make a quantum leap in understanding. Insight is a spontaneous revelation about something that was previously hidden from our understanding. There are many mysteries hidden within the human unconscious. For example, when we are young, we learn various mental strategies for coping with the unexpected painful situations, and these strategies are mostly lodged in our unconscious mind. Such patterns of thinking then follow us into our relationships, jobs, and lives, where they can undermine us when we feel threatened or overwhelmed. Our unconscious fears lie like twisted knots inside us that form into hardened opinions or judgments about ourselves, others, and the world in general. The art of contemplation gradually dissolves these hardened patterns, and the first stage is simply to create more inner space for them to be seen and released. This is the power of pausing. Pausing often leads directly to insight, which is the spontaneous unraveling of one of these old knots inside our mind. As it splits open, and it can happen at any time, we suddenly feel a rush of understanding and release as we finally see and let go of an old pattern of thinking that has dogged us for years. The byproduct of such an insight is that a new light will go on somewhere deep in our mind, and this light will confirm and deepen our practice of contemplation. As you practice the technique of pausing over a period of time, sooner or later you will experience a rush of such insight. It may come suddenly or it may well up gradually. Thank you so much for the like. When it does come, you will suddenly realize the power of contemplation as it impacts your mind, freeing you from limited ways of thinking and opening up a new way of seeing yourself in the world. Silo busting, applying insight to your life. One of the great advantages of having a free mind is that your thinking expands exponentially to encompass a huge diversity of fields. Genius is the ability to understand, both logically and intuitively, the central truth that unites all fields of knowledge and endeavor. Only a truly open mind has the ability to synthesize all this data. Your contemplative practice over time will open up new neural pathways in your brain that bridge both left and right hemispheres. This means that whenever you experience an insight, you will see a vast web of interconnections, and you will sense the correct harmonic arrangement of those patterns. This new gift of understanding can then be applied to any field, from business to education to the arts. You will find that you can greatly increase the effectiveness of any system or method, from writing to doing the washing up, or from parenting to running a business. The other unique application of a contemplative mind is its ability to break new ground. This is known as silo busting. Many of us develop a deep understanding in only one or perhaps two fields over the course of our lives. We often live within relatively tight confines, held back by the limits of our education, our culture, and our conditioning. The contemplative mind is constantly breaking through these separate silos in which we unconsciously live. Through contemplation, we begin applying our gift of insight to all manner of different areas of culture and thought, thus bringing into our life new ideas, new allies and friends, as well as a host of fresh opportunities. The reward of pausing, the mind of light. Your new gift of insight can bring some extraordinary rewards into your life. Chief among these is lucidity of mind. After some time, you will find that your mind grasps the essence of any particular problem spontaneously and effortlessly. The main hallmark of a lucid mind is its ability to transform any challenge into a creative opportunity. As you learn the art of contemplation, you will even find that your thinking itself begins to pause as little spaces begin to open out between your thoughts. A clear mind repels both doubt and confusion. This new sense of inner spaciousness can give you a fresh confidence in the power of your own mind that you will transmit everywhere you go and in everything you do. In Japan, where the art of contemplation has been perfected through the incisive practices of Zen Buddhism, one of the characters used for the word contemplation is, and there's Japanese writing inside the book. The literal translation of these two characters is light flashed through the mind. Many human beings have intuited that the mind operating at its highest potential is connected to the notion of light. We speak of flashes of intuition, of illumination and enlightenment. All the great mystical traditions allude to this inner light that exists in a state somewhere just beyond our ordinary mind. The highest goal of the art of contemplation is ultimately to reveal this inner light. Your mind's greatest spiritual potential is to see the same truth resonating within all things and all beings. This lofty goal comes as the result of many years of dedicated contemplative practice. However, despite being difficult to attain, such states have been shown to be real by many wise ones who have gone before us. Let this be a great encouragement for you as you sharpen and hone your mind's abilities through the art of contemplation. One day your reward will be to see through this universal mind and directly inhabit this magical state of unity, known as the mind of light. Emotional contemplation, cultivating your higher purpose. As your daily practice of the first contemplation technique deepens, you may begin to feel how all these pauses, both short and long, knit together to form a web of spacious calm. Now we may even find ourselves leading two kinds of lives. Our old life, in which we are still like a spider blown around on the wind, and this new life, flickering into form, in which we feel increasingly grounded and held by a new sense of stability and calmness. Our practice of contemplation invites us to continually cultivate this feeling of core stability amidst the changing backdrop of our lives. Without this sense of inner quietness and clarity, our true essence can never be felt or known. Many of us do not even realize that there is a transcendent force that lives within us. Like a seed that we are each gifted at birth, this mysterious essence requires gentle cultivation in order to reveal its true splendor within our lives. Through the practice and art of contemplation, The seed will rise up inside us as a powerful sense of higher purpose and vision. Can you imagine the difference between a person who lives with a strong inner vision and a person who does not? Without a sense of vision, one simply drifts with no rudder on the currents of life, reacting and spinning from one event to the next. There can be little coherence in such a life, nor any real sense of purpose. Now imagine a person living with a strong inner vision. They may not know precisely where they are going, but there is a force, a commitment, and a will running through the heart of their life. Their higher purpose wells up from a great pool of calm, manifesting in their life as a sense of virtue and noble activity. And I apologize, there is some construction work going on in the background. So if the microphone is picking up on that, I am so sorry. Such a life has a strong underlying sense of pattern that is deeply fulfilling. This is the contemplative life, and it is within your grasp. It may be a useful image to see your contemplation as a garden that you are preparing. You are clearing spaces of weeds and turning over the soil. Every so often, you carefully sow seeds or plant a beautiful rose bush. Then you must be patient and wait, as all gardeners must. And Richard Rudd often talks in these ways that are a little bit different. The way that he explains things is a little bit different. It's a little bit romantic, it's a little bit poetic. So when he's talking about being a gardener, obviously he doesn't mean literally, he just means figuratively. Before you know it, the new shoots will emerge and a new vision will begin growing before your very eyes. Surfing the emotional wave. Rooted more deeply than our thoughts, our emotional patterns arguably have a greater impact on our quality of life than any other internal factor. Okay, can you hear me now? Oh my gosh, have I been going this whole time without the mic being on? Thank you so much, Guillermo. I appreciate you. Oh my goodness. Okay. So that means that this entire time it hasn't. Oh no. Okay. This is what I know. My goodness. My bad. And I was talking about how there's so much construction going on. I kept on apologizing for the sound quality, and the entire time my mic was just off. So, oh my goodness. Okay, Oh, the mic stopped working. Okay, give me a second. The mic stopped working, so let me turn on my second mic. Okay. Oh my goodness, this is so embarrassing. Okay. Now that the mic is officially working, and since I don't know when the mic turned off, let me just go ahead and continue from where I was. And I'll come back probably in a later live stream and go back and reread some of that since I'm not sure when the mic cut off. But that's so funny. But thank you so much for letting me know. Okay, yes, the green light's on, the green light's on. Okay, I cannot believe I missed that. That is, oh my goodness. Okay. You have made self compassion and love the pivot for a total change in awareness. And having done it once, you draw strength from knowing you can do it again whenever you need. You have learned to bring your heart back to life. You are feeling tension. Oh, three. You are feeling tension in your relationship, whether you understand the reason for the tension or not. You can feel the pressure building and the probability of an argument breaking out. Instead of focusing on the other person, you take a pause and turn your attention inwards. And oh, it was so nice for that moment to not have the construction going on and to have the silence. I was like, oh, it's finally done. No, it's still going on. You take full ownership for your own discomfort, separating out your own issues from those of the other person. This leaves you feeling clearer in your heart and mind. Now, instead of preparing for a defense or an attack, you are in a state where you can handle any emotions that come up from a place of empathy. Because of this, you decide not to speak to the other in a negative manner. You do not repress your feelings, but you first listen to the other, acknowledging rather than defending. Then, if appropriate, you speak openly and honestly, with an open heart and without blame. You have stopped the argument from your side. You have used a pause as the pivot for a total change in the direction of your emotional energy. Instead of an explosive and painful argument, you have created an atmosphere of acceptance and understanding. In each of the examples above, the act of pivoting takes place within a pause. Obviously, not every pause leads to pivoting, but by increasing the frequency of pauses in your life, you will also increase the possibility of these powerful transformations. And again, I highly suggest the Triple Flame Act, as it will remind you to take these pauses that you really need to take in order to further your contemplative process. Over time, using this simple technique of pausing and pivoting, you will find that you are breaking through many old negative patterns, and you will feel a new sense of freedom and lightness flowing into each day of your life. The beauty of pivoting is that it isn't something you consciously do. For the modern mind, it can be difficult to comprehend that healing takes place without conscious action or effort on our part. The conscious aspect of the technique is taking the pause and then looking within to see what is occurring. The pivot itself, if and when it occurs, is unpredictable and mysterious. The pivot is something that happens on its own, simply by your being honest with yourself and by giving yourself the space for a shift to occur. We simply rest our attention on the nub of the problem as a mother cradles her young child, and then we wait. Let me make sure that I didn't skip. Okay, perfect. The second confirmation, breakthrough. The second of the three confirmations that occurs as we practice contemplation is called breakthrough. Just as our first confirmation comes as a mental insight, the second is experienced as an emotional breakthrough. As the word signifies, this confirmation comes unexpectedly and powerfully as a transformation of some aspect of our emotional behavior. Often the first stage of this breakthrough is simply to see our emotional shadow pattern objectively for the first time. This may come as a shock as we realize how much of a victim we have been of that particular emotional belief. Seeing the pattern clearly then leads to the gradual dissolution of the problem as our awareness continues to chip away at that pattern. Eventually, our contemplative practice completely transforms the old negative shadow, and it no longer haunts us or causes us the pain it used to. Breakthrough can come either in the form of a sudden realization or as a steady emotional expansion as we uproot an old paradigm that has dogged us and our relationships for years. In most cases, breakthrough lasts a considerable period of time, since we are letting go of patterns that formed a long time ago when we were a child. If at any time you feel overwhelmed by such inner changes brought about by your practice of contemplation, you are advised to seek out a professional therapist or counselor who will be able to assist you as you move through this transitional period. Sometimes when we get deep into our contemplation, and especially when we're contemplating our shadows and our shadow self, we kind of go almost into a regressiveness, right? We have that reactivity or that kind of pulling away from reactivity. And so it's something that can happen along the path of contemplating, especially when we're trying to break these old emotional patterns, these old mental patterns. And so it's something that I will warn you can happen. And usually this is something that does happen when you're trying to do inner work and when you're trying to especially focus on your shadow or your shadow patterns. There will be a little bit of a regression or maybe some feelings are going to well up. So definitely if they're feeling too overwhelming, if they're feeling too big and you feel like you can't manage it on your own, seeking out professional help is something that I highly encourage. And as a wellness coach, this is something that I can also help lead you through because again, when we're starting to deal with our past and things that we've experienced, maybe things that we don't want to acknowledge sometimes. All this stuff comes up because we're finally finding that stillness inside of us. We're finally giving ourselves the opportunity to really be able to get to our core wound, get to the nitty gritty, get to the meat of whatever our long term emotional trauma has been or experiences have been, and really being able to see them with clarity and not with blame, not with a victim mentality, but from a place of just wanting to improve or wanting to really see the path that's best for you. And again, so sometimes, yes, these things are going to come up, but you can always find help and explanation and guidance through professional help or through someone like a wellness coach like myself. Allow, accept, embrace. The 3 stages of breakthrough. Breakthrough has 3 distinct stages that can help us surrender more deeply into the process. These stages can also help give us a solid sense of where we are in our own emotional terrain, as well as where we are heading. The first stage is about allowing the painful feeling. Whether the feeling is anger, fear, numbness, resentment, grief, or any other emotion, the first step is to simply allow yourself to feel it. You don't have to like it or accept it. You can even hate the feeling. To allow the feeling is to provide some space around it. Until you allow the feeling in, you are in denial of the pain, and it will fester inside your psyche. The beauty of allowing is that it is so generous. It just opens the door a little, as much as we are comfortable. There is no pressure from allowing. We just take a peek at the pattern. We can even close the door again if it seems too painful. Allowing is a process in which we gradually open the door wider over a period of time. The second stage occurs when we have done a certain amount of allowing. Acceptance occurs as we begin to get used to the discomfort. We realize that the emotional pain will not kill us. It can seem overwhelming. It can seem terrifying. It can make us feel irritated or deadened or filled with rage. As we come to accept a negative pattern, it is rather like taking in a stray dog or cat that has been abused. It takes time to rebuild trust. That hurt part of our psyche needs this acclimatization period in which we gradually come to realize the depth of our pain. Whereas allowing makes space for all manner of feelings and extremes, acceptance brings us to a deeper and more mature place in which we are authentically facing our own pain or difficulty with love and understanding. The final stage is embracing, and it is the culmination of any breakthrough. Once an emotional shadow pattern has been fully accepted at the deepest level, it is effectively purged from our system. The painful memory that gave rise to the difficulty has been met with our deepest, most heartfelt compassion. It has been allowed to express itself without being projected onto another as blame. Neither have we in any way repressed the shadow as something shameful that we wish to forget. Over a period of time, through our great courage, the pattern has been transformed, and in a beautiful twist, it has become something remarkable. It has become grace. Grace can take many forms. It can come as forgiveness, self-empowerment, humility, or any other profound sense of emotional resolution. The essence of the breakthrough is that our pain reveals its true higher purpose, which is to bring us a profound sense of wholeness and love. Applying pivoting to our relationships, a clean slate. As the power of pivoting spreads into your life, all your relationships will benefit. Personal relationships will become so much easier as you learn the art of empathy and patience that grows out of the technique of pivoting. Business relationships will also become clearer and more efficient as your increased sense of relaxation around others leads to open and honest communication. Enormous time is saved through simple honesty. It is as though you are beginning your life again with a completely clean slate in which negativity and dishonesty have been completely thrown out. In Japan, there is a tradition known as harage. It concerns the subtle communication that passes between people through chemistry, facial expression, body language, and intuition. It has been proven that the greater percentage of all communication between humans takes place at this unconscious level. In Harage, the most important factor in communication is your honesty and your intent. If you are concealing something, then no matter how adept you think you are at hiding it, it will always be communicated at an unconscious level. Even if we override our own intuition, in the end, the hidden factor will surface at some point in the relationship, usually leading to a crisis. The reason that the technique of pivoting creates such beneficial changes in our relationships is because it trains us to be inwardly honest. When you are honest with yourself and another, the relationship is clean. A clean relationship is like a well-tended garden in which the flowers and plants are given the optimum conditions for growth and prosperity. The role of gentleness. As you can perhaps surmise, pivoting can be quite an intense inner process at times. We are confronting aspects of ourselves that we may have unconsciously fled from for most of our lives. All our inner challenges are rooted in old fears. The emotional shadow reactions spoken of earlier are simply an understandable way in which we try to glaze over some form of deep-seated fear or trauma. Such tender areas in our psyche require the gentlest of touches. This gentleness is the quintessence of the art of contemplation. If you remember nothing else as you practice the art of contemplation, remember only this. Above all, be gentle with yourself. The core message that contemplation teaches us is that feeling fear is safe. That is, fear does not feel safe, but it is safe to feel it. Similarly, as we approach pain of any sort, instead of flinching through contemplation, we soften into it. When someone is physically wounded, our immediate instinct is to behave gently and calmly around them. Contemplation applies the same wisdom inwardly. We all carry tender emotional wounds of one sort or another. The touch of contemplation is the gentlest, most all-forgiving touch. When you feel any level of pain, this is the spirit in which you need to approach yourself. Likewise, in your personal and professional relationships, it's vital always to consider the feelings of others. We must be honest, but we must also be gentle and considerate. The softer our touch, the greater the opening will be. The reward of pivoting, the heart of peace. Pivoting is about dealing with the unknown, with change, and with the unpredictable in life. It is also the knife edge of contemplation. Like a scalpel, pivoting can be used to cut out dishonesty from our inner life. It takes courage to lean into our wounds, challenges, and shadows in this way, but the rewards of the process are exponentially great compared to the difficulties. The technique of pivoting may do the surgery, but our ongoing contemplative practice will heal the wounds that are exposed. It is rare to find a human being without some imprint of trauma in their emotional life. The great antidote to trauma is love. There is much hype in the modern world about the true meaning of love. Few are the okay, there was just a honk and I was like, what is going on here? Again, this construction is, I do apologize if the microphone is picking it up. I was not expecting there to be construction going on right now. Few are those who have truly discovered the source of love inside the human heart. Yet this is the reward of the art of contemplation. As our awareness continues to open deeper pools of calm, old patterns and pain come to the surface for healing, and out of these patterns emerges our higher purpose in the world. The ancient Sufis of the Middle Eastern deserts gave the whole of their lives to the singular study of the subject of love. Over many generations, they created an exquisite science of love that has never been surpassed. They distinguished many forms of love and gave them precise names. The name they gave to the highest form of human love is Ishq, pure love. Pure love is unconditional and arises in the heart when all wounds have been healed. This is the great love our poets have always sung of, the love that stitches together the very fabric of our world. Although it may seem to many like a romantic dream, pure love is the only lasting legacy we humans have. There is nothing comparable to it in all of creation. All our knowledge in science and self-importance falls away in the presence of such love. It is this love that we come from, and this love that we will return to. It is the fathomless mystery of the human heart. This pure love, through hard-earned and seldom witnessed on our earth, is the ultimate reward of the deeper reaches of contemplation. Those few who have embodied this love throughout history have found few words to describe it. They speak of it as an indescribable peace that resides in the human heart. It is this heart of peace that lies buried like a glittering gem inside each of us. It awaits the day when we will gather the courage to pierce our fear and softly allow the petals of our hearts to once again open fully. All right, I'm going to stop there for today. Thank you again to Guillermo for allowing me to find out that my microphone wasn't working. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and or join one of the membership tiers as it is popping off. And I'll see you on the next video or live stream. Be well, stay wild as well.